a chilly start to the week. I'll let you know how long these fall-like temperatures stick around.
Up with KREM begins now with Tim Pham, Channing Curtis, and Jeremy Legoo.
Well, good morning and welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis. Now today our back to school coverage continues across the inland Northwest. To help college students with their first day of classes, we have team coverage this morning. Nicole Hernandez is live at Eastern Washington University. Now she's talking with university leaders about students' commitments to be on campus this year. Our Jeremy Legoo is in the KREM 2 Outdoor Weather Center with the forecast, having a cup of coffee, just chilling with those fall-like temperatures. He's going to tell us more about what students can expect on their walk to school today. But first, we want to head out to Tim Pham. He's live out in Moscow on the campus there. Tim, what changes are in place this year?
Oh, Channing, good morning. Well, hey, there are a lot of changes at both WSU and the U of I. We're on University of Idaho's campus now, and now that the sun is rising and students are getting up and ready for the day, I gotta just say there are a lot of students waiting for the rec center here. They're actually behind our camera right now, but yeah, wow, way to go, students. I don't think I was this motivated on the first day of classes to be up this early and already head to the gym. But anyways, again, welcome from U of I's campus in Moscow. We are here talking about a lot of changes. You know, you think about the last year and a half, there has been so much changes to our lives, and that includes on-campus college living and campus classes. So at U of I, something that's different than WSU is that U of I actually never really closed. They had in-person classes all last year. They were actually one of the most proactive schools in terms of an aggressive approach to how they would attack COVID and restrictions to try and keep things as normal as they could. So they were one of the first campuses to implement a mask policy last year so they could keep students on campus. But that taught them a lot, and that prepared them for this first day of class of how in-person classes would be offered. So they are hopeful that they can move forward with bigger in-person events, and that doesn't include just on-campus learning, but that includes sporting events. And they tell me that that really has a lot to do with really building that on-campus experience and community. They really believe that that'll help retain students. So one thing that you will want to know on U of I's campus is that there is a mask requirement back this year, and it's really for indoors, but they do ask that students wear masks if they are in congested areas on campus. Another big change this year is that there's more flexibility in on-campus housing. So students are allowed to pick their roommates this year based off their comfort level. So, you know, some students say they only wanted to room with vaccinated students, and some who were not vaccinated chose to room with those that were unvaccinated. But they're also, again, doing all the traditional things, really encouraging hand sanitizing, hand washing, and social distancing. But again, they say the big thing this year that they want to bring back is engagement, because students said loud and clear that that was the hardest part of the last school year.
Engaging in a learning environment in person is the number one form of engagement that students participate in on a college campus. It's also one of the most critical components to their learning experiences, being in those classes. So students will see more in-class requirement expectations than they did last year.
So this year, the school is also offering a vaccine incentive. So you can get $50 for getting the vaccine. And then they're also doing a lottery as well, a tuition lottery. They're giving away 10 $1,000 scholarships for getting the vaccine. And then they're giving 2 $5,000 tuition credits towards students who get the vaccine. Should mention though, the vaccine not required at U of I's campus, different than WSU's requirements. U of I tells me that they actually don't require any vaccines for any other diseases or any other illnesses. And who you just heard from was the Dean of Students and also the Vice Provost for Student Affairs. And one thing that I asked him is about enrollment, because, you know, this really changed the a hard word to say. It changed a lot of people's paths for students going through college. And he tells me that, they did see a little bit of a dip last year because students weren't able to engage. But he says numbers for enrollment are back up this fall.
We're hearing from a lot of students saying they're just going to take a pause right now and come back when COVID is behind. And we can't do anything but respect that. People have to make choices that are going to be best for them. But we always remind students we're here and ready for them to come back.
So something really cool is that every single year the students read a common reading book. That's pretty traditional at many college campuses. So all the freshmen this year, they're reading the book. The title is called Grit. And really it's about how to persist during trying times. And that author is Angela Duckworth. And I just can't really think of a better fitting book for the students here at U of I, and really all of us and students all over the country. You think about everything that these students had to go through in the last year. There's nothing easy about it, nothing traditional about it. And we all needed to kind of build that extra layer of grit. And that's what these students will need, because it's still not normal. And what a normal looks like now is who knows? But what we do know is that we need grit to get through these times right now. And I think it's very fitting that that's what the Common Reading Book is this year. But, a very exciting, bustling morning here on campus. You heard the garbage trucks going by, campus dining, and students heading to the rec center and ROTC. And gosh, it just feels so good to have college campuses feel a little bit back to normal with students back here on campus. So yeah, a lot going on here in Moscow. And we're reporting live in the U of I. I'm Tim Pham. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Well, now U of I students aren't the only ones returning to campus today. Eastern Washington students are also making their big comeback to both campuses in Spokane and Cheney. Nicole Hernandez is joining us live now from the Cheney campus. Good morning, Nicole. How are things out there?
Yeah, good morning. Going well. So there are some EWU students waking up this morning, getting ready to go to class in person, which is super exciting. Now, EWU has about 12,000 students taking classes through their programs. That's either in person or online between their two campuses here in Cheney and in Spokane. So the plan for them, in order to have everybody back in person, is to have everyone vaccinated. So everyone that is attending classes here will have to send in their vaccination status before starting classes. As of right now, 3,000 students have sent in that vaccination status. Of those, the interim president says only 140 have actually asked for exemptions. So that means that it's about a 95% vaccination rate for the people who have already turned in that vaccination status. Of course, getting ready to go back to in-person this semester has been a challenge after an entire year of online learning, but the president says everyone is super excited.
And a really important part of Eastern Washington University is the sense of place that we have here. This beautiful campus, these buildings, the sense of community that we build by being together in this place. That's what people are missing, is the ability to be involved in clubs and organizations or go to a play or a sporting event.
Now today specifically is the Spokane location that will be going back to school. It's everyone that's on that semester system that will be starting classes today specifically. Everyone on the quarter system, so most of the people that are in the actual Cheney location of EWU will be starting later in September. Now the Spokane location that's starting today is more of a commuter school, so no one will be actually living on campus, and it's not as hard for them to get back to in-person classes because they're all used to PPE and cleaning procedures because they're all health sciences majors for the most part. So a lot of those people that are going back to school today have been doing some in-person stuff here and there, specifically because of the fact that they're health sciences, and of course, like I mentioned, all that PPE, all the cleaning stuff, they're used to it. The president said that this is kind of just like going back to a normal day of work for them. But of course, here in Cheney, as they prepare for the rest of the students to get back on campus here at the end of September, one thing that they're doing is actually opening a new residence hall because of just how many students are interested in living here for that in-person experience. Live in Cheney, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Well, the first day of class might look a little different than expected for North Idaho College. Today, the college will require multi-layer face coverings to be worn inside all buildings where 2 or more people are present. The college's president made the decision this past week with consideration of the growing Delta variant. Now, for more information on colleges in your area as they head back to campus, you can text the word college to 509-448-2000. We'll send a link right to your phone with all of the very latest information. All right, our Jeremy Legoo is outside in the Outdoor Weather Center enjoying some of these fall-like temperatures. Jeremy, it feels a little more like early October than it does really August. I can't believe it's still summer.
Yeah. How great is this? After our exceptionally hot summer, Channing's right. We're talking temperatures that are very reminiscent of the final weeks of September and the start of October than we are about temperatures right now. In fact, remember last October we were up in the 80s? Not even close to that today. 46 right now, and temperatures are going to continue to kind of chill out early on this morning. You can see the sun coming up right now. There it is. It's already working its way up, but typically that first hour of the sun being up is the coldest of the entire day, so expect this to be nice and chilly. Temps in the mid 40s, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and Sandpoint. Low 50s in Wenatchee and Moses Lake this morning. Wind is helping to keep us from cooling too much, but we get rid of the wind overnight tonight, so tomorrow likely even cooler than where we start today. You'll see that wind die down throughout the day and into the afternoon. Not a cloud in the sky right now. We will see yet another disturbance sweep the region. Another wave of energy comes in from a storm up in Canada. And what that's going to do for us is bring about a couple of isolated showers in northeastern Washington. Those dissipate as they move into far reaches of North Idaho. And then everything kind of calms down. We'll see a little bit of cloud cover kind of move in through the middle of the week. But for now, here it is. It's temperatures. Whew. Kind of what we expect to see as we kick off the month of October, but for now it's this. And keep in mind, we're still in August. We're supposed to be in the 80s right now, so enjoy this brief break from the heat because warm temperatures are going to make their way back.
Well, masks are officially back. The state's indoor mask mandate goes back into effect today. The mandate returns as COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations surge to new highs due to the Delta variant.
Fully vaccinated individuals will once again be included in the statewide mask requirement to wear masks when they are in public indoor settings.
Now, anyone ages 5 and up must wear a mask in stores, restaurants, and any other public indoor space, regardless of your vaccination status. The State Department of Health is also recommending, but not requiring, that masks be worn in crowded outdoor settings like concerts, fairs, and even farmers markets. It's time now for your morning rush. More news in less time. The driver responsible for the crash at the Dutch Brothers coffee stand on Freya Street has been charged with vehicular assault. A tractor-trailer truck crashed through the Dutch Brothers coffee stand and Liberty Tax Services building on Friday afternoon. 48-year-old McGavin Madrain was initially arrested on suspicion of DUI. One person had serious but non-life-threatening injuries, and a Dutch Brothers coffee employee suffered a broken hip. A man accused of killing his longtime partner in Spirit Lake is being held on a $1 million bond. John Dalton Jr. was arrested in St. Mary's Wednesday night. The arrest took place after friends and family members requested a check on 56-year-old Tina Swore on Monday. Deputies found her dead in her home. They then began an investigation with Dalton as a person of interest. The sheriff's office says they were able to locate Dalton because of help from the public. The U.S. has once again extended its border restrictions with Mexico and Canada through September 21st. The Department of Homeland Security announced the extension this past week as a way to try to minimize the spread of the Delta variant. The change comes after Canada opened their border to vaccinated Americans on August 8th. Well, that's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. Our Verified team fact checks viral claims to help you sort through what's true and what's false. This week, the team is recapping what you need to know about the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan.
And of course, we're going to take you outside and talk what's going on in the world of weather. All those kids heading to class, well, they got a chilly start to the day, and by this afternoon, Pullman Moscow looking at temps topping out in the mid to upper 60s. It's going to feel very fall-like as those kids start walking to class.